A massive reorganization of the atmosphere is unfolding across the North American continent right now, and as we step into the first days of 2026, we are witnessing a weather pattern that is both awe-inspiring and deeply concerning. For millions of Americans, the relative quiet of the holiday season is about to be replaced by a volatile, high-stakes weather environment that will test our infrastructure, our patience, and our preparedness. We are standing on the precipice of what I am calling the Great Winter Turn. This is not just a simple cold front or a passing shower. This is a fundamental shift in the jet stream that will bring historic snow, record-breaking heat, and a looming threat of ice all within a single 10-day window. In this 25-minute emergency broadcast, we are going to walk through the science, the timing, and the safety measures you must take to protect your family under the watchful eye of the Creator. I have a specific, critical revelation regarding a mid-month atmospheric reset that will impact 48 states, and I will be revealing that exact timeline at precisely 12 minutes and 40 seconds into this message. Let us begin with the most immediate and life-threatening situation currently developing in the Great Lakes region and the Northeast. We are tracking what can only be described as a historic lake-effect snow event, as the cold Arctic air pours over the still unfrozen waters of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. A powerful engine of moisture is being ignited. For the city of Syracuse, New York, and the surrounding communities, the next 40 hours will be a test of endurance. Our high-resolution models are showing a persistent, narrow band of snow that could dump as much as 50 inches of snow in a very short period. Imagine over 4 feet of snow burying homes and vehicles in less than 2 days. This is an incredible amount of weight on rooftops and a paralyzing obstacle for emergency services. If you are in the path of this snow band, you are essentially experiencing a stationary blizzard. The visibility will drop to 0 miles for hours on end. We must pray for the first responders and the plow drivers who will be working through the night in these treacherous conditions. It is in these moments of natural fury that we are reminded of our own smallness and the importance of looking out for our neighbors, especially the elderly who may lose access to their driveways or heat sources. As we move away from the immediate snow siege in New York, we must address the invisible danger that many of you are already feeling on the roads. From the farmlands of Ohio through the rolling hills of Pennsylvania, sudden snow squalls have been wreaking havoc on our interstates. These squalls are unique because they can occur even when the sun is trying to peek through the clouds. 1 minute you are driving at 65 miles per hour on dry pavement, and the next, you are engulfed in a wall of white with zero traction. For our brothers and sisters behind the wheel of a heavy truck, these squalls are a nightmare. We have seen reports of multi-vehicle accidents because people simply did not have time to react. Please, if you are traveling, keep your headlights on and increase your following distance to at least 10 car lengths. Stewardship of our safety is a responsibility we carry for our families and those sharing the road with us. The Lord gave us the spirit of a sound mind. Let us use it to make wise decisions when the weather turns fierce. Now, we must transition to the secondary headline of this broadcast, which is the bizarre and record-shattering warmth that is about to surge northward. This brings us to the 5-minute promise I made at the beginning of this video. While it may seem impossible given the current cold snap in Florida and the snow in New York, a massive ridge of high pressure is building over the Central Plains. By Monday and Tuesday, the atmosphere will undergo a transformation that will defy the very definition of January. In states like Nebraska, South Dakota, and Iowa, we are looking at temperatures reaching 60 or even 65 degrees Fahrenheit. This is not just mild weather. This is 30 to 35 degrees above the seasonal average. To put this in perspective, this kind of warmth in January is historically unprecedented for these regions. Farmers may see their dormant crops begin to stir, and animals may be confused by the sudden spring-like air. But there is a hidden danger here. When you introduce 60-degree air to a landscape that was recently frozen or covered in snow, you create a massive amount of fog and rapid snowmelt. This runoff can lead to flooded basements and overwhelmed culverts. We must be diligent in clearing debris from our drainage systems now, while the ground is still manageable. Why is this happening? The answer lies in the jet stream, which is moving into what we call a meridional flow. Instead of the wind blowing in a straight line from west to east, it is beginning to buckle and wave like a giant ribbon. This creates deep troughs of low pressure and high ridges of high pressure. When the jet stream buckles this way, it allows Arctic air to plunge all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, which is why Max is reporting a temperature of 35 degrees Fahrenheit in Florida today. At the same time, it allows tropical air to be sucked all the way north into Canada. This tug-of-war between the North Pole and the equator is happening right over our backyards. It is an unsettled and volatile setup that favors the development of powerful storm systems. We are seeing a reorganization of the atmosphere that suggests the second half of January will be much more active than the first. This leads me to a point of great concern for our friends in the southeast. As the warmer air moves in to replace the cold, we will see a surge of moisture from the Gulf. By late Friday and into Saturday, we are tracking a shortwave trough that will trigger rounds of rain and thunderstorms across Georgia, Alabama, and the Carolinas. While the overall severe weather threat remains at a marginal level, we cannot be complacent. The atmosphere will have just enough energy to produce isolated damaging winds of 60 miles per hour and perhaps a brief, isolated tornado. For those of you who have had your furnaces fail during this cold snap, like our friend in Georgia who mentioned his furnace cracked on New Year's Eve, the return of warmer air will be a blessing, but the storms that bring it must be watched with a cautious eye. We pray for those currently wrapped in blankets in cold houses, that their repairs would be swift, and that the Lord would provide them warmth during this transition. We are now approaching the 12-minute and 40-second mark, and it is time for the most critical revelation of today's forecast. Everything we have discussed so far, the historic snow, the record heat, is merely the setup for the big turn. According to the latest deep ensemble modeling, the atmosphere is preparing for a massive Arctic reset that will begin around January 14th. This is the moment when the warm ridge in the center of the country collapses and is replaced by a direct discharge of polar air. But because the preceding week will have been so warm, the boundary between the retreating warmth and the advancing cold will be a breeding ground for a major ice storm. We are seeing high probabilities of a freezing rain event stretching from the Texas Panhandle through Oklahoma into Missouri and the Ohio Valley. Ice is far more dangerous than snow. It weighs down power lines, snaps tree limbs, and turns our roads into skating rinks. If the models continue to hold this trend, we are looking at a potential multi-day power outage scenario for parts of the heartland. This is the big turn that will define the winter of 2026. You have roughly 10 days to prepare. Check your propane tanks, ensure your flashlights have fresh batteries, and make sure your family has a plan for alternative heating. Preparation is not about fear. It is about the wisdom of the ant that stores food for the winter. For those of you in the Tennessee Valley and parts of Kentucky who have been asking, "Where is our winter?" I hear your frustration. It can be discouraging to see snow all around you while you sit under gray skies and rain. However, the pattern change coming after the 10th of January is exactly what you need for wintry precipitation. As the jet stream dips further south, the cold side of the storm tracks will finally include your region. But as I mentioned, it may come in the form of ice before it turns to snow. We must be careful what we wish for, as a white Christmas in January can often come with the heavy price of hazardous travel. We will be watching the specific track of the low-pressure systems moving over the Rockies very closely in the coming days to give you the exact snow line coordinates. I want to take a moment to speak to the truckers and the essential workers who rely on these forecasts to do their jobs. As a trucker mentioned in the comments, these updates are a required part of the day for the long haul. Your dedication keeps this country running, and we do not take that lightly. When we talk about 50 inches of snow in Syracuse or 60-mile-per-hour winds in the southeast, we are talking about your workplace. Please know that our team is working 24 hours a day to ensure the data we provide is the most accurate available. We have moved beyond a one-person operation, because the responsibility of providing life-saving weather information requires a team of experts. With 12 employees and storm chasers now on staff, we are dedicated to being your eyes and ears on the horizon. Looking at the broader picture across the West Coast, the news is a mix of blessing and challenge. Sunday and Monday will bring a parade of storms into Washington, Oregon, and California. We are expecting several feet of snow in the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada. This is wonderful news for the snowpack and our water reservoirs for the coming summer. However, the heavy rain at lower elevations could trigger mudslides in areas that were scarred by wildfires in previous years. We must pray for the protection of those living on the hillsides and for the travelers navigating the mountain passes. The mountains are a testament to the majesty of God's creation, but they demand our respect and our caution during these winter surges. In Florida, the falling iguana weather will soon pass as the ridge builds in. We have seen temperatures in the 30s as far south as Vero Beach and the Big Bend. For a state that thrives on sunshine and warmth, this cold has been a shock. Many of you have mentioned your water hoses freezing and having to run wood stoves in the Sunshine State. By Monday, you will see a return to the 70s, but keep your umbrellas handy, as the moisture from the Gulf will be active. This temperature roller coaster is a hallmark of the meridional flow, and it can be very taxing on our health. Please take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, and try to keep your indoor environment stable. As we look back at our record-breaking year of 2025, I am reminded of why we do this. Reaching nearly 1 billion people across all platforms is a staggering statistic, but what matters most are the individual stories. The person who decided not to drive because of a snow squall warning, the family that prepared their basement for a tornado, the farmer who protected his livestock because he knew the freeze was coming, those are the true successes. I am honored to serve as your degreed meteorologist, and I promise to continue providing this information with the integrity and the depth you deserve. We are not here to provide clickbait headlines. We are here to provide the science and the shield of information. As we move into the final stretch of this broadcast, let us talk about the Friday forecast for next week. The GFS model, one of our most trusted long-range tools, is showing something truly historic. It depicts a corridor of 50 and 60-degree air stretching all the way into the Ohio Valley and western New York. If this verified, Cleveland, Ohio, could see a high of 56 degrees on a day when it should be 30. While this warmth will feel good on the skin, it is a sign of an incredibly energized atmosphere. This level of warmth acts as fuel for the next cold front. When that cold air finally slams into that warm, moist air mass around the middle of the month, the resulting storms will be powerful. We could be talking about a significant severe weather outbreak in the south followed by a blizzard in the north. This is the big turn that the title of today's video refers to. It is the transition from a quiet winter to a chaotic one. In terms of practical advice for the next 48 hours, if you are in the lake effect zones of New York, stay home. There is no destination important enough to risk being stranded in 4 feet of snow. If you must go out, ensure your vehicle is equipped with a winter survival kit, blankets, water, a shovel, and a bag of sand or kitty litter for traction. For those in the plains, use this coming week of warmth to do the chores you couldn't do in the cold. Check your roof for loose shingles, clear your gutters, and ensure your home is well insulated before the Arctic reset arrives on the 14th. We are also watching a unique alignment in the atmosphere that could bring a nor'easter-type storm to the East Coast toward the end of next week. As the energy from the West Coast storms moves across the country and hits the Atlantic Ocean, it will find a very favorable environment to rapidly intensify. This could bring heavy snow to Maryland, New Jersey, and New England. For our viewers in Maryland who feel they have been missed by the recent snow, this may be your first real opportunity for a significant accumulation. We will be tracking the coastal low development every single day. As we conclude this 25-minute deep dive, I want to address the spirit of our community. I see your comments, your prayers, and your support. Whether it is a joke about bedhead hair or a sincere prayer for protection, this community is a light in a sometimes dark world. We are living in times of great change, both in the weather and in the world at large. But we do not have to be afraid. We are equipped with knowledge, we are supported by each other, and we are loved by a God who is bigger than any storm. Make sure you have max velocity notifications turned on, as we will be going live if any of these snow squalls or severe storms threaten life and property. Our team is standing by, and we will not rest until the danger has passed. Thank you for your trust, thank you for your time, and thank you for being a part of this historic year. We will see you in the next forecast, where we will have updated snowfall totals and a closer look at the mid-month ice threat. Stay safe, stay warm, and may the Lord bless you, and keep you as we navigate this wild winter of 2026. Good night for now, and remember, keep your eyes on the sky, and your heart in the right place. We will talk again very soon.